Hey, what's up you guys? This is MVM coming at you again with another video. Now before I begin, it's a little dark in here, isn't it? That's better. I love this thing. This is basically a universal remote for my entire room. You can turn the light on and off, you can dim the light, brighten the light, you can change the fan speed, turn the fan on and off, of course, change the temperature for God's sakes. This thing is pretty cool. But enough about that. Let's move on to the main topic. Now, the entire reason I'm doing this video is because I've had problem YouTubers in the past. I have had people false flag my videos and gotten them taken down, and their sole reason was because they thought that I could not use their videos whatsoever. Now, I attempted to prove them wrong in the comments various times, and they simply stuck to being ignorant and ignored me and went on to thinking whatever they wanted to about fair use and copyright. So, I uploaded a video about fair use and copyright before, but me being the dumbass, I accidentally deleted it when messing with the settings. So here we are again, making another video about fair use and copyright. Now this will be the final one, I hope, and if anybody doesn't agree with anything that I say, you can simply go to the link that I will provide below and look at it for yourselves. These are the rules I'm going to lay out for you guys. This is what you can and cannot do with your videos and with other people's videos. You cannot argue with this. This is YouTube law, essentially. May I remind those few YouTubers, you know who you are, that false flagging people can result in your account being closed for good. So, let's move on, shall we? Now, as you can see, I have Firefox open and a link all ready to go. So let's open it up, shall we? Now, as you can see, this is called the Complete Guide to Fair Use and YouTube, and as I said, I will post this link in the box below. Let's just start off right away with the 4 questions to ask before uploading a video. Number 1, what are you doing with the copyrighted content? If you are doing something highly transformative with the content, then you will have more room under fair use doctrine. You are more likely to be covered if you are saying something quite different from what the original creator was trying to say. Now what that means, everybody, listen carefully, is that you can use someone else's video, but as long as it falls under fair use. So, for example, if someone makes a video talking about evolution and you totally disagree with it, you can use their video to respond to and tell people why that you don't agree with it. You can use someone else's video to do that. However, if there's a video that you reply to which you agree with, you can't simply use it and agree to every point. Just say, yep, I agree with that, move on to the next point. Yep, I agree with that, move on to the next point. You can't do that. That's not really original. That's not creative. What you can do, if you agree with someone's video, is you can use their video, agree with the point, but then add on something else. Something they may not have added on themselves or your own point of view. You can do that. So, you can use someone else's video, especially if you're replying to it. Let's move on to number 2. What is the nature of the copyrighted content you are using? Use of creative or fictional content, for example a film or cartoon, is less frequently allowed and under fair use than less creative non-fictional material. This means you cannot upload full movies or TV shows. Now I get that some people do that, but that's only because YouTube doesn't catch them. YouTube does miss stuff from time to time, and they do falsely judge from time to time. That is why my stuff has been false flagged and taken down wrongly, because YouTube didn't take the time. So if that happens to you, refute it. Tell YouTube why you're allowed to have it on. Give them this link. Number 3, how much of the original content are you using? You should be careful to use a reasonable amount. Just use enough of the copyrighted content as you need in order to get your point across. So like I said before, for number 1, you can use someone's entire video if you like, but as long as you are using it to get your point across. You can use someone else's video to reply to it, to get your point across, get your view across. You can do that. Number 4 really isn't relevant for normal YouTube users and partners, but I'm going to read it off anyway. If your video will take away viewers or sales from the original, then it is less likely to be covered under fair use. Additionally, you shouldn't create work that occupies markets that copyright owners are entitled to exploit. That's mainly for people in business and stuff of that nature. You really don't have to pay attention to that one. So those are the questions you should ask before making a YouTube video. Let's move on to the next one. Now these are common myths about fair use on YouTube. And I love myth number 1. Myth number 1. If you are making money off of a video using copyrighted content, this is not fair use. Whether or not something is used for commercial purposes is not a factor that goes into deciding whether it is fair use or not. There are many commercial enterprises that actually rely on fair use. So if you are creating commercial work for profit, you can use copyrighted content as long as it falls under fair use. So if you are a YouTube partner like I aim to be, you can use someone else's video and have ads making a profit off of it. You just have to fall under the fair use rules and guidelines. And again, like the example I gave earlier, replying to someone's video and giving your views about their points is fair use, and you can make money off of that. That's perfectly fine. Myth number 2. Myth number 2. As long as you give credit to the original creator, then you won't be liable for copyright infringement. Now that's not true. You are not required by law to give credit when using another person's work under fair use, and by the same token, crediting someone will not protect you from the copyright infringement. So bottom line is, you don't have to give someone credit, but it's always a good idea to do so no harm comes to you. So myth number 3 is, if you use less than 30 seconds of copyright material, then you're in the clear. Well, that's just a myth. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Here's a couple things that you guys should know. Background music. You can have background music. However, you cannot intentionally put music in your video that you do not own. You can, however, have background music that's incidental. Say if your friend is playing a song and you're doing a video at the same time. Well, that's not your fault. That's incidental background music. That's also fair use. And your video should not be taken under scrutiny for that. But as I said, you cannot use full music on purpose in your videos. Scenes and clips for a reference is a good one. If you want to use scenes or clips from a film or television show, for example, you can only do so in where you're reviewing it. But you can also use it as a parody. You can insert little clips here and there, but as long as you're not posting long clips of the TV show or film, you can do it for a comedic effect. Parody is big, but you got to be sure to do it right if you want to be protected under fair use. When you do a parody, you can go so far as to use clips from the original song in your own parody, including background music, voices, or anything else that includes videos. But you have to be careful not to go overboard with your parody, because you can get your video taken down if it has too much copyrighted content. You can dub over someone else's video or song with your own voice. That's usually fine, as it's highly transformative, as it says, and a creative use of the content. So you can overdub people's stuff, as long as it's your own original voice. Now, video games and tutorials with commentary, that's usually fine. Just be careful with that one. I recommend you use commentary as well, because I have known some video game tutorials who didn't have commentary to be taken down. So I suggest you do have commentary. Plus, they help the game's sales anyway. So, here's the next one before I move on to the very big one. This is called mashups. A mashup puts together different copyright materials in a creative and transformative way. They are definitely transformative. However, the content used in mashups is also usually highly creative, and some copyright owners have been pretty aggressive about going after people for using content in this way. However, more and more copyright owners are leaving this type of content up because it is free promotion for the original, and YouTube has given them ways to monetize the content. So, if you're creating something using different clips of other people's work, that's fine. Just be wary that some people may not like it, and always give credit to the people who made those original videos. Besides, any video you ever do using someone else's video in it is going to give them props. It's going to give them more attention. It's going to give them more subs, more viewers, more likes, more dislikes, more everything. So usually when you use someone else's video, it's a good thing. So people who are really tight asses about people using your videos, ease up. It's going to give you more... It's going to give you better responses. I mean, more likes, more subs potentially. I mean, come on, ease up, you guys. Now, this is the one that I really like. This is the main thing people who have false flagged my videos have tried to push onto me. This is what refutes their entire argument. Posting the entirety of someone else's video to YouTube. Now, this kind of ties in with some points I already mentioned, but let me read this because this does explain it a little bit more. Alright, posting the entirety of someone else's video to YouTube. If you are posting someone else's video on YouTube for archival purposes or to spur a conversation, that means responding to a video using your own points and such, like I said before, in the comments, then it may fall under fair use. However, you cannot post a full music video or another popular YouTube video just to get a lot of views on your channel and say that you fall under fair use because you were trying to start a conversation. What that means is ultimately you can use someone else's entire video, but only if it falls under fair use, only if you're trying to have a conversation, which is the only reason I do it and which is the only reason anyone should do it. If you're posting a video and replying to it, then it falls under fair use. One more time for the people who are a little slow, for those who have false flagged me in the past. If you are posting someone else's video on YouTube for archival purposes or to have a conversation, you can use someone else's entire video. It falls under fair use. So, I think that's all I gotta say on the matter. I mean, there's pretty much nothing else to talk about. I mainly wanted to cover posting the entirety of someone else's video, and I did. So, if you guys have any other questions or comments, please see the link below that takes you to the website I was just at. And if you'd like, feel free to ask me any questions. Leave a comment below. Sub if you want. Do what you wish. But yes, this is hopefully my final and last video on fair use and copyright on YouTube. And again, for someone who may have missed it, you can use someone else's video. You don't have to give them credit, but it's always good to do so. And you can only use someone else's video, especially if you're using the entirety of it, if you're trying to have a conversation or if you're trying to archive it. You can only use someone else's video if you, in turn, are being creative. Most notably if you're trying to have a conversation, if you're trying to reply to their points. So, that being said, until next video, peace.